loved it, kind of gravitated toward art. And when I was probably in high school, middle school, I had a lot of, like inner anxiety and angst, like, building up in me, and realized like, oh, art can be not like that. And so that's kind of where it came to today. I used to work with colored pencils. In my prints over there, at some point you guys can take a look. But I have a few prints of my colored pencil work. So that's most of my background is drawing a colored pencil. And then in 2022, I think it was 2021, I started painting with oils. A local artist here, Thomas Blackshear, talked me into it, and I've loved it ever since. So, yeah, as far as inspiration goes, for me, it's kind of pulling from multiple sources, I guess I would say. Sometimes it's nature, sometimes it's music, sometimes, in fact, nowadays, probably most of the time, when I'm creating a piece, I let it kind of develop as I go. And it kind of feels like I'm just along for the ride, as it is creating itself through my hand in a way. So it kind of creates a cool relationship with something that you're creating. It kind of has a mind of its own. So as far as inspiration goes, sometimes it's as simple as like, there have been times when Megan and I were sitting in church and heard an interesting thing that the pastor was talking about, and I think in pictures, and so my brain just translated it into pictures, and I'll sit there and sketch it. And same thing with music. When I listen to music, it's I see it in my head, and sometimes it kind of translates into images like this. And then another source of, I guess, inspiration you could call it is dealing with anxiety, depression, and sometimes just like general frustration with the state of the world, or feeling or seeing brokenness in the world, and trying to create an image that sort of depicts that struggle, that inner struggle. So a lot of these paintings they depict some inner struggle of mine, but I also, the ones that I do know what they mean, I like to kind of leave it up to the viewer as well, what they interpret from the piece. Like some of these over here, I've had some really interesting insights into what each piece means to someone, and it'll be sometimes completely different than what I intended, and I'm like, that's really cool. It adds meaning to the piece, and that's great. Yeah. Let's see. As far as technique goes, I was just telling Megan on the car drive up, I was like, I don't really know how to explain this part, because I feel like each time I start painting, I feel like I'm just sort of making it up as I go. I'm starting to establish better technique now, where I know what each stage is going to look like, and I'm planning it out better. Sometimes it's just kind of, I just wing it in a way. So each piece I feel like has kind of a slightly different technique. So it's usually starts out with a drawing onto wood panel, and then I'll either just glaze over it with kind of a translucent, like a burnt sienna, and then sometimes draw highlights from that and then paint over that. Sometimes I do like a little bit more detailed underpainting and then glaze over it a little bit more. Yeah, I don't know, just kind of experimenting. I feel like that's a lot of what these are, is just experimenting different methods. But I think flesh tone has been one of my favorite things to paint, if you can't tell. And I love sculpt the figure with paintbrush. All the subtle color changes, all the value changes coming in at once. It's probably the biggest pain in the butt, and I love it. It's so fun, and I kind of get lost, and I get a little flow. Painting like flesh, human flesh. And hi, Christopher.
Great. Some chairs.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, I guess that's a little bit about me. Do you guys have any questions about anything in particular?
Can you pick one painting and tell us about it?
Yeah. Okay.
I had one.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Bird in hand.
Bird in hand?
Yes.
Yeah. What's your question about it?
Describe how you, the inspiration for that, and why you picked the elements in it that you did.
Yeah. So that one, the person actually last week, the person who posed for the original drawing that I did, which was fairly similar to this, was actually here last week, which was pretty cool. So I took pictures. She posed and had this really cool fabric. It turned out perfect. You know, I'm not a very good photographer, so I was pretty happy with how it turned out. So there was something about this image in my head. I had done a few sketches of it. Kind of this juxtaposed, like these hands doing this, the triangle, like passing over the eyes. And it was just an image that stuck with me. I didn't really know what it meant. And so I kind of played with it a little bit. I did that original drawing of her, and it was pretty similar to this. And I think it kind of described to me this idea of love and possession. The way the painting felt, totally different background. I have the Ouroboros surrounding, like in the halo. And to me, that means like the eternal and a glimpse into the mind of God. And I'm trying to think back. It's hard to remember everything I was thinking at the time. But basically, open-handed love and possessive love. And this triangle representing ascension, passing over her eyes. Yeah, I don't know, there's a lot of like layers to it.
It's a cool one.
But yeah, did that one speak to you?
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah?
Of all of them, yes.
Really? You are welcome to share, but I don't want to put you on the spot if you want to share.
I think the similar background as you have.
Yeah, okay, interesting. Yeah, cool.
Forrest, do you always work from photos?
Yes.
Like, have you worked live? Ever done? I'm thinking it probably takes you a long time with a painting.
Yeah.
So it's probably unrealistic to have a model sit there for that long.
Yeah.
So that's the way that you can kind of capture what you're looking for and.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And it's usually a compilation of images, or I change something about it, or pulling from multiple references. If I don't like something about an image, I'll find another one that fits it better, or change it as I see fit. But yeah, I've done like figure drawing, like live figure drawing, and one time I did figure painting. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, super fun. If anybody here is an artist, you haven't done that, I would highly recommend it. It's so good for developing skills, understanding anatomy. But yeah, I haven't done any like live painting of it. I feel bad for the model trying to sit there.
Very cool.
Is this one way over there? Is that on like on racial tensions? Was the white guy looking at that?
We're talking about, just making sure, this guy right here? Yeah, it is not, but I'm curious now where you're thinking. Because if it speaks to you in a way, I'd be curious about it.
But you can go ahead first.
Okay. This was a piece, like a number of other ones that I've done, where it was the image in my head. I really liked it. It kept gnawing at me, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna paint it. And I really enjoyed the composition, the design of it. I think I was telling Christopher about this a couple weeks ago. This one, as well as a couple others, this one kind of sort of somewhat follows the Fibonacci, like it's kind of inspired by that. It kind of draws your eye around. And so I really liked it as a concept. It was visually appealing to me. I knew it meant something. I wasn't sure what it was. Something to do with angst and tension. It was like, basically, as I finished the painting, like the last brush strokes, I realized like, I have been dealing with so much shame and confronting so much inner shame. And it just kind of dawned on me like, that's what this piece means, shame. So all the ashen hands, like devoid of color, pulling down at his figure, and he's not even fighting it off. He's struggling to pull himself up, and yet pulling on himself as well. And the halo behind him, it almost has like a planetary look to it. And it's like the weight of the world.
Oh wow.
So that's what this piece means to me now. Is hands out shame.
Wow.
Again, you're welcome to share if you have a different interpretation. That's great. Awesome.
So your description hit home. I got the chills over here.
Cool.
When you were describing that.
So do you do political issues at all in these paintings or not?
So I think not directly. I do feel like some of my inner turmoil and angst might be derived from that, and how divisive politics are now. Yes, I would say so. But you know, I'm not like politically leaning any one direction or the other. I'm almost somewhere in the middle, hating both sides, which is an uncomfortable place to be. Yeah, so I hesitate to make things political because I feel like politics they feel smaller to me than a lot of like spiritual stuff that I kind of struggle with, or like that I think about a lot. I don't know if that's a good answer, but so yes and no. We'll say no, but maybe a little bit yes.
So when they think about political stuff to give you anxiety, is one of the reasons you avoid it?
Yeah, and I don't want to take a stance as a political artist.
Right, sure.
And, you know, like, even as you know, I was raised Christian, I don't even take a stance as a Christian artist per se. I'm a Christian, but I'm also an artist. So I would say my artwork is mostly secular, even though it does kind of nod its head toward a lot of like religious influence with the iconography. You know, the hands like pointing upward, all the halos. It's a little bit of one